We all know that feeling of being stuck, questioning why your du'as are not being answered. Feeling blocked can happen in your life when it comes to getting, finding, or keeping a career, relationships, or personal development when it comes to your personal, physical, and spiritual health. I used to struggle with navigating my own struggles with doubts, setbacks, and resistance, but after years of studying Islamic thought, as well as systems thinking approach that I learned while getting my engineering degree, I was able to create a methodology to make sense of how life works. Instead of feeling like I was a victim of my own life, I feel supported and I know what to do to maximize my blessing. I'll share how your faith, mindset, and personal actions work together to either unblock or block your blessings that are meant for you. Over the next few minutes, we'll uncover 3 things: how to identify what's truly in your control versus what's not. Number 2, how to understand how systematic challenges affect your opportunities. And 3, the exact mindset and action shifts that you need to break through these barriers. Without further ado, let's get started. Studies show that over 40% of our daily stressors come from worrying about things that are completely outside of our control. Imagine the mental relief you could instantly feel if you separated what's yours to handle from what isn't. Let me show you how to do just this with my favorite example. Imagine that you are in a room with your friend and you're having a great time. Suddenly people start coming in and it becomes really noisy. You thought that you heard your name and you turn around, but when you turn back, your friend is gone. What is your first assumption? Is it that your friend abandoned you, or are they waiting for you and they are lost too? But this is the key part. If you believe that they are not looking for you, you won't look. But if you believe that they do, you will do everything in your power, and that is where free will as well as faith comes in. In this scenario, the part that is outside of your control is the amount of noise, the amount of people, as well as getting lost. That was not your fault. But what is in your control is thinking, planning, as well as executing. So what you can do in this situation is maybe to go upstairs so that you can get a bird's eye view, as well as to see what is going on. Another thing that you can do is also plan. Maybe she's next to that counter. There's somebody who looks like her that's next to that counter. So you're gonna plan and map it in your head. So when it comes to things that are happening in my life, I have one rule. If it is something in the past, something that you did wrong or a mistake that keeps eating you up, I will always categorize that as the will of Allah. Because the past or opportunities to change that moment will never, ever happen again. And the only thing left for you to do in that moment about the past is that you learn the lesson so that you can bring it into the present moment right now or in the future. But I'm also really careful not to whitewash, or more appropriately, religious wash the present and the future. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in the next step, which is crucial. If you want to learn more about how the mind works, I have a habit systems course that you can take, which is mini course, which I've taken over 80 hours to compile, read over 100 books, and this will save you a lot more time so that you don't have to keep on searching when you're trying to understand how the mind works. This will help you save a lot of time, energy, attention, and money, especially so that you don't have to do a coach or therapy when it comes to understanding how habits gets formed, as well as how you can break them instantly. This is a methodology which has completely changed my life. Everything is so competitive nowadays. The type of competition that is today has by no means comparison to before. And I'll give you an example. If you want to get married, that would have been 1 in 200 witches within your village, okay? The people that look like you and talk like you. Now it's like 1 in a billion, okay? You are now competing with the world. Race does not matter anymore. Age doesn't matter anymore. Language and location doesn't matter anymore. You can go on YouTube and learn a language overnight and move to a new city. Y'all, gender is not even a problem anymore, okay? This is the reality that we live in. I was in Canada recently with my in-laws, and they were telling me about the days of the competition of high salary because you have skills is fading, because international people are willing to get paid less for that position. How can you outcompete someone who's willing to get paid less for the same amount of job? You can't. These are what I call systematic challenges, the laws in the way of the collective of people that change how things work to get the outcome that we desire. In business, they say it ain't personal, it's just business. But in life, it ain't personal, it's just system. The faster that you can draw the lines, the happier you will be, because remember that suffering comes from expectation. And we live in a world of high expectations with ads and companies tempting us to buy this product and that product. We're not just sold products, but as well as the lifestyle. And that's why the influencer industry is so big for marketing nowadays. Remember also the words of the Prophet ﷺ, how wonderful is the affair of the believer, for his affairs are always good. And this applies to no one but the believer. If something good happens to him, he is thankful for it and it's good for him. But if something bad happens to him, he bears it with patience, and that is good for him. The phrase suffering comes from expectation comes from Buddhist tradition, but I wanted to show you also from a Muslim tradition, it's the same idea. And a huge tip when it comes to Quranic Arabic, because I took a couple of classes, is that if there are a million women in a room and a man walks in and there's somebody addressing them, and this is often within the Quran and Hadith, you'll see that it will use he or him. So that is how grammar works. So when you read this and you see him over and over again, understand that it also applies to women. So what this says is that suffering is a choice. It is an internal and personal experience that can be changed. What I want you to take away is that your efforts can change the trajectory of humanity, especially yourself, within your family, and then the community. So when you wake up every morning, your job is to try, not the outcome. I did not want to do this video today, you guys. I did not want to do it, but my job is to show up. The outcome is not in my control. Their job is also to purify so that you can see clearly. But we often do the worst thing in the world, and that is to doubt and resist. And I'll talk about that in the next point. Now that you understand the will of Allah, which is unchangeable except in one case, and I'll tell you that soon, the system's will, which you can change, but it will take a while and is more painful effort, what is the one thing that has massive change to make blessings and opportunities flow to you? In my case, I've been trying to come back to YouTube for years, and then one of my videos went kind of viral, which was completely unexpected, a completely new topic that I've never talked about before. But what I started doing was doubting. I didn't know what to do. What was I doing right? How can I recreate it? So I did one thing. Instead of wallowing in my experience, I looked to my past in order to learn from it. The question I asked myself, is what I'm feeling coming from a positive perspective or from a lack perspective? If it was lack, it would have a lot of fear. So I knew that this was shaitani as well as nafsi. Shaitani would mean that it is waswas that is constantly happening. These are the negative thought loops that we have. On the other end is also the nafs. So this is going to be the negative emotions that you have. If you had bad experiences back in the past, your nafs is trying to protect you so that you don't get hurt. So it tries not to do new things. It wants to seek comfort, but growth does not come from comfort. So I let those feelings guide me to get clear on my mission exactly instead. I don't like preaching and I hate it. So I didn't want to go in that angle. So what I did was made a quick dua, because every time you have a question, what do? We make dua. We're not disconnected and we're always guided. And suddenly the answer came to me. You plan way too much. Just do it. And then I remembered a Quran verse in which the Prophet ﷺ, when he was first getting the revelation, was always moving his tongue a little bit too fast. So he was told not to do it because it is Allah who is actually going to keep it within your heart. So I was able to verify that it wasn't just me, but it had some Quranic basis. So I decided that I'm just going to surrender. And this is a huge thing, especially if you're not familiar with what Islam and Muslim means. It is the one who surrendered. This is because Quranic Arabic has a triliteral root letters. So that means salama. Muslim, Islam, as well as peace have the same root word. And that's why they say when you surrender or when you accept Islam, then peace will come. Because it is that surrendering act, which is an active verb that can be done constantly. So what you're doing when you're surrendering and allowing your blessings to come in is that you're not functioning from your nafs or your ego or from the lack mindset. Once I realized this and I worked on my mindset, the next thing that I did was just open up my computer and I wrote for hours. So I ended up writing a year's worth of topic videos within 1 hour. So this video and the rest that are coming are because I got into action and not in my way. I stopped blocking my blessings. In the habit loop, there are 3 steps. Number 1 is going to be the trigger, the reason why you do anything. Number 2 is going to be the behavior, as well as number 3, which is the reward, which means what you get out of it to continue doing that habit again and again. When there is a negative habit, it often comes from anger, anxiety, or worry, which are the triggers. These mindset triggers, meaning the anger, the anxiety, and the worry, are the reason behind why you do anything. And what the world does not realize, and I had to read a lot of books when it comes from the Islamic scientific data in order to understand this, it is going to be the anger, the anxiety, the worry, the mindset, the state of your heart within Islam that are blocking your blessings, as well as the reason why we do so many heinous crimes on earth. So when you feel this way, do introspection. What this means is for you to take the effort in order to purify yourself so that wonderful things are happening. The biggest thing is you need to realize the blessings are always there. The question is, do you see them and do you take them? I hope that was helpful, and if you found any of these insights valuable, there are so much waiting for you. So make sure to check out all of the videos that I have for deeper understanding on how to live life with clarity. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't don't miss out on new content. And if you're ready to take the next steps that are necessary to transform your life, it's not going to be just information and me talking and following me online. When it comes to transformation, you have to get into action. So I have a step-by-step toolkit, which is a 4-in-1 bundle to help you build habits that align with your faith and allow you to unblock every part of your life. I don't just focus on religion because everything is interconnected. When we started compartmentalizing our religion from other parts of our life, like our relationships and our career, that is when problems started happening. This is about taking hold and working hard with what is in your control so that you can create balance, success, and fulfillment, both in this world as well as in the hereafter. Bithnillah. Until next time, peace.